Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Damora McQueen, and as you already know, this is the place where I try my best to motivate you and to inspire you as much as possible. And as you can already tell, today I want to talk a little bit about positivity and why your words and your thoughts as well really do matter. Before I touch in depth on what I want to say, I just want you to think about two scriptures, which I think brings home the point that I'm going to make really well. Firstly, Proverbs 18 verse 21 says that death and life are in the power of the tongue. So remember that death and life are in the power of the tongue. And then secondly, Jeremiah 29 verse 11, and this is a popular scripture. I know the plans that I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. So let's talk a little bit about positivity and why your words and your thoughts actually do matter. Firstly, your thoughts and your words become life, right? And this is a very important point to consider. And this is what the first scripture was basically saying, that death and life are in the power of the tongue. So your thoughts and your thoughts and your words really do become life, right? So it's because it's basically all about how you condition yourself, right? So if you think that you're not going to be successful, then you're not going to be successful because you've already conditioned yourself mentally to think that. So it becomes a reality. If you think you're going to fail an exam, there's a major possibility you're going to fail the exam because again, you've already conditioned yourself to believe that you will fail. So again, death and life is in the power of the tongue. And so if you say, I'm never gonna, I'm never going to get a car like that. I'm never going to get a house like that. You're probably never going to get a car or a house like that because you've already spoken it and your mind has conceived it, right? So remember that death and life is in your tongue. What you speak becomes life, and that is why it's good to speak positively, right? So speak positively to yourself, think positively, right? So I'm going to talk a little bit later on about how to change your vocabulary, right? But it's important to know that what you speak and what you even think can become life. So it's important to change how you speak and how you think. Then I love what I call mirror moments. So this is where sometimes I start to doubt, start to fear and whatever. And I literally just find a mirror and I look myself in the mirror and I'm like, you're great, you're awesome, you're Damora McQueen, you can do great things, etc. That's how I talk to myself at times because sometimes we need to encourage ourselves, right? We need to be our biggest cheerleaders, right? So have mirror moments when you're starting to doubt, when you've started to fear and whatever. Talk to yourself positively. Remind yourself of who you are and the obstacles that you've already overcome and the trials you've already overcome and the progress that you've made. Remind yourself of that because sometimes we need to just remind ourselves, right, that we're doing good despite how we might feel in the moment, right? So have mirror moments. And even if you don't have a mirror in the moment when you're feeling doubt and fear and so on and feeling low, just speak to yourself in that moment, like just talk to yourself, right? And speak positively to yourself and develop that positivity. It might take some time, but it compounds over time. Positivity compounds in the same way that negativity compounds. Positivity also compounds. So get in the habit of speaking positively to yourself. Encourage yourself, right? And remind yourself of the great things that are actually ahead because there are great things ahead. Remember the scripture I spoke about earlier? I know the plans that I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future, right? So there are great things ahead of you. So speak positively and speak about those great things. Even if you can't see them or even if you don't feel them, still speak it so that it becomes life. Then I want you to change your language. Change again how you speak to yourself. But what I mean really here is literally changing your vocabulary. So adding words like yet. This is something that I do. So a big one for me is I'm not a millionaire yet, right? So because what that does is that it creates room for possibility. The yet, adding that simple three-letter word, changes the meaning of the sentence. Because instead of saying I'm not a millionaire, and instead saying I'm not a millionaire yet, think about both sentences. I'm not a millionaire, full stop. But if you say I'm not a millionaire yet, it speaks about possibility. It says that that might not be the case right now, but I'm going to be a millionaire, right? So for some people, that might be surrounding public speaking. It could be whatever you think about, right? That's not, somebody might ask if that's your car. No, it's not my car yet. It's not my house yet, right? Because you know that one day you're going to probably own a car or a house like that. So change your vocabulary. Literally add yet or some other word that shows possibility. Because that is also adding positivity to your life and to how you speak. So that's also important. So change your vocabulary. So I'm not a millionaire yet. Remember I told you here, I'm not a millionaire yet. But soon I'll be a millionaire. Maybe a few years, but I'll be a millionaire and I'll create impact, positive impact, and effect positive change. But it's about yet. Not yet, it's gonna happen. And then lastly, God thinks good of you, so you should also think good of yourself. And again, the scripture, Jeremiah 29, verse 11. I know the plans that I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. And this is a reminder to me as well, right? To think positively of myself, because sometimes mistakes that you've made or whatever try to come rather in your way and in your mind and everything, and you just have to remind yourself that you have a great future ahead, despite how you might have messed up, despite whatever foolishness you might have done, right? There are great things ahead, right? And so look ahead, right? The best is yet to come. That's it. So think positively, talk positively, and walk in your positivity, and go be great. Thank you so much for listening. Please like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment. Thank you so much for supporting. Have a good day.